Hello and welcome to another wild week. And I don't know. I need a better tagline. I need a better jingle. I need a better everything over here. Hi, my name's Anch. I play video games on the internet, like many of you, and sometimes I talk about them. Typically, we start each stream talking about the news, so let's do that. Later on today, we'll get into some Pokemon Yellow, which we've been doing on Fridays here. There was this Nintendo Direct today. One streaming Falcon watched it early in the morning. And there's like a couple of things that came out that I saw through the feeds that I picked out, and we'll kind of go through it. I don't think we'll cover everything really. I don't think that's realistic, but depends. I think there's at least one article there that says, "Oh, here's everything that got announced." So let's see what it is there. I have not tore into it. So I have this program called Lighthost, and Lighthost is a program that. Thanks for letting me know, Tomahawk Chop Boy. I have this program called Lighthost, and Lighthost is a program that hosts plugins for audio, and allows you to take if you have like an audio mixer or stuff like that, or even if you don't, I guess if you don't have an audio mixer and you still have channels, audio channels on your computer, it will let you take those audio channels, put them into the program, and then run a plugin over top of it. And so one of the examples is there's a plugin that I have here that's called RX11 Voice Denoise, because this microphone and in the setup in the walls, there's just electricity in the walls and just whatever, because of the way that this place is, that there's always some sort of hum that I have just never really been able to get rid of. And so that lets me get rid of the hum with almost no latency, basically zero latency. And yeah, so that's what that is. And so if Lighthost is not open for whatever reason, then there's no voice. But there's other shit. So, oh, all right. Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome to this nightmare train that is this Twitch stream. It's Friday, September 12th, 2025. Welcome. There was a Nintendo Direct today. I think that's let's talk about the news. We talk about the news first before doing anything else. I think after the news we'll talk about play a video game. Allegedly I'm a gamer. And so maybe we'll play some Pokemon Yellow. That's usually what we've been doing on Fridays here. But yeah, there was this Nintendo Direct this morning that one streaming Falcon watched and commented on. He dabbles in gaming. He's been known to dabble in gaming. He's here. Yeah. But anyway, so we'll see what's been written so far. That's basically it. I mean, ultimately this is secondary coverage of people who actually do the coverage. That's the first thing, and also I don't know that there's any kind of meta-analysis that's going to be out there now anyway. There's just going to be people who are talking about like, hey, this thing got announced, or hey, this thing got announced, or hey, this. I think one of the things that I'm really interested in, and I don't know if we'll really ever get the answer to, is kind of, what was the can you even say what the overall reception is, and if so, then what is the overall reception of this thing? Because like if you just take Falcon's chat as an example, or you take your own personal thing as an example, or you go and you think about what Waffle was saying and how they seem to take it, and they seem to take it more positively. It was a very up and down thing as far as I could tell. And it just struck me as overall a little bit tone deaf. But I don't know. Maybe they over there at Nintendo are seeing something different that we don't get to see, and maybe we're just in our own little world. Maybe they have a broader view of things. But yeah, very very tone deaf. Very I got the feeling of like very very tone deaf. Very like, who asked for this? who on what survey, like did Nintendo send out a survey and said like of the things that you would like to see in the future? Virtual Boy, is that on the survey? What? Uh, you know. So hey, I mean I guess that's cool. Surely one article will be talking about Virtual Boy. I see it right here. So let's see. I think I usually go here, and I need a screen open. And as usual, it is off somehow because the screen's all right, but I was just here yesterday. You know what it is? Actually, the camera keeps changing position. It's not the screen. It's that I keep fooling around with the camera position, and then that changes where the thing needs to be. All right. And let's get this thing open. I now have this button. Oh, which okay works. All right, cool. Okay. Let's see. FT news briefing. I forgot that I have these like traditional news outlets down at the bottom here. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Everything announced during today's Nintendo Direct. Around 40 games appeared during Nintendo's hour-long presentation. All right. So that's right. Okay. So there was a Fire Emblem, a new Pokemon, Yoshi and Mario Tennis games, which again, tennis? I don't know. Um, there's some third-party games too. But I didn't. So I joined a little bit late. I didn't even see that there was a reveal for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So that's cool. That is certainly in line with everybody going with their what is it called? They call it transmedia. Um, so that's neat. Apparently, there's a teaser trailer. Let's see, teaser trailer. Did you embed the teaser trailer? No. All right. Super Mario Galaxy movie teaser trailer. Oh, we're going to space. Yeah, right. Okay. Gotcha.
Let's go.
Oh my god. That star. That's okay. A bit much. Huh. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know about Tennis Fever, but okay. Um Yoshi and the Mysterious Book will be interesting. I have I guess gone up and down with Yoshi over the years. Uh I think as a kid I really enjoyed whatever Yoshi's Island game that we had. But then as I grew up I soured on Yoshi. But I think I'm at a place where I can come back to being okay with Yoshi. It'll be interesting to see what this is. I think genuinely I am interested in seeing that. Um, Virtu- Virtual Boy. I think there's another article on Virtual Boy, so we go there. I'm also excited for this Metroid Prime thing. So I think that's bang on. I think This should be interesting. I've never, like I said, like I never got into Metroid. I think tonally it was just always not what I was looking for in a game. Oddly, like I got into Castlevania, but I did not get into Metroid. Um, and they're both kind of dark, but they're a little like I don't know. Like Castlevania is a little dark fantasy, and they use music in a little bit of a different way to make it kind of like a adventure. Like it gives you a feeling of adventure and exploration. And meanwhile, with Metroid, I always felt like it was, you know, the atmosphere and the music and everything that was kind of put in there was kind of making it almost like a thriller or making a very like a very intense tension. And I would never really feel the tension being cut. And that always kind of kept me away from Metroid because it's the game stressed me out. The game never really presented like any relaxing point to me, and so I could get it, hardly get into it. But when you like, but if you put it into uh, a console 3D kind of environment, and then you kind of dress it up almost like a shooter, and then I could I could see myself at least feeling familiar with it. But it'll really depend on what are all of the things that are like what are all the features I guess that the game has, and how is all that coming together. So let's see. Um, yeah, new open world motorbike sections, very cool. Paid DLC. That was one of the themes in this whole thing, right? Which is a little bit gross. I don't know. I mean, like we've seen this for years with DLC. With paid DLC. I don't know. I can't remember the last time that I had seen the paid DLC being advertised before a video game came out. So we saw that today, and that was especially egregious. Which is again why I started thinking about like this is so tone deaf. What is this? Um, but you know, you can behave like we're Nintendo and nobody care. Or sorry, rather, we're Nintendo and we don't have to care about about certain sentiments because we're so big that we can just throw our weight around and lawsuit this and patent that and uh contract with the end user that says that we can brick your console whenever we want and $100 games and you know yeah, all of these kind of things for so long. I just get a feeling that at some point, if you keep being a little bit belligerent like this, it's gonna bite you in the ass. Uh, especially when you also have other competitors in the space that are like really trying to ramp up and reclaim some of their former glory, like Xbox or I think about Sega a lot about how kind of aggressive that they are being in terms of trying to bring their things back to the fore. So yeah, this anyway. So we've seen a lot of paid DLC stuff, but before a game comes out, and also in this case, right after, like very soon after the game came out, to where it really makes you think like, could this have been part of the game? Um, you know. Now, the other thing it started making me think of is like, hey, well, what if you um what if you instead priced your game at like $80 Canadian, sorry, or $60 Canadian or whatever, and it's never going to be $60 Canadian. That's not. Let's say $60 US, which is going to be something like $80 Canadian. Um, but then you like held off parts of your game, like additional modes. I don't know. Uh, extra parts of stories. And we used to see that with DLC, I think. Additional stories and things like this. And you kind of release those on your internal roadmap of like, I don't know, like 6 months down the line, something like that. Maybe even sooner, 3 months, because you want to capitalize on a new game being out. Maybe even 2 months. But then you bring it out and you price it at like 20. So like you basically you take that cost of the game, that whole thing, and you cut the product in these pieces, and then you sell them piecemeal, so that people who can absorb the initial hit will do it, and if they can absorb more, if they want to absorb more, then they can do it. That's what this all makes me think of. I feel like this is opening up a pathway for some of that kind of stuff, which I don't really feel great about. But I also don't feel great about spending $100 on video games. So I don't know. If I had to choose one or the other, I guess I would choose the latter. But of course, then it all just comes back to like, oh well, why would they just charge $100 for a video game and then hold off 2 months and then release a DLC that is $20, which I guess is what's going to happen. So fuck me for trying to be reasonable about this, I guess. Okay. Capcom is bringing Resi 7, Village, and Requiem to Switch 2, which is cool, but also kind of different in tone than what you would normally see on the Switch. But again, I like it. Pokopia, of course. Pokemon Utopia. Pokopia is coming from Koei Tecmo. Fire Emblem. We didn't really get to see a whole lot of like what is what's different or what's going on in this Fire Emblem. I think of course there's going to be rabid Fire Emblem fans wherever you go. I still haven't finished Fire Emblem Aqua Fresh. Whatever that last game was. Gosh, what was it? I call it Aqua Fresh because of that main character's hair. It's like it's just a picture that I have somewhere of somebody took that character, with their hair and just put the Aqua Fresh logo at the bottom of the picture. Fire Emblem. Is it Three Houses? No, it's not Three Houses. It might have been Three Houses. Anyway. Let's see. ZA with the Mega Raichu, yeah, and this spawned a whole discussion on Mega Pokemon and how Mega, what is it? Mega Lopunny fans are perverts, I guess. So that'll be interesting. I'll probably pick up a new Pokemon game. I could see myself getting into that. Seeing as I'm trying to get into Pokemon and understand what's a Mega? What are you talking about? I have no idea. I know a little bit, right, from Sword and Shield, I guess, because of those like giant friggin' Pokemons. I don't know if those were Megas though. No, those were like just Gigantamax or whatever. So that's something else. That's not a Mega. All right, let's go off topic. Hideo Kojima says job interviews are a place where lies meet lies. But his own encounter with an HR manager taught him to speak honestly to applicants. I think there's something going on in Saudi right now. Anyway. Kojima got man. Everyone's so interested in Kojima. Kojima got an interview with a medical equipment manufacturer where he told the HR manager his true feelings. To his surprise, the HR manager told him, "I think you're better suited to a creative field, Kojima. Go for it." Well, thank you, HR manager. I no longer had to lie. I spoke sincerely about my past experiences, the novels I'd written, and my creative track record, and showed them my portfolio of work and idea books. Damn. However, I don't lie. Oh wait, hang on. Let's go back up a little bit. Kojima concluded his essay by pointing out that both interviewees and interviewers lied during the interview process, but says his experience with the HR manager at the medical equipment manager has taught him to stay honest during these situations. It's my second year in the workforce. I've been sitting on the interviewing side. I'm the one listening to the students' lies. However, interviewers also lie. This is because they are not just expressing their personal opinions, but representing the company. An interview is a place where lies meet. However, I don't lie. Not because I represent the company. I interact honestly with students. I also give advice to those who aren't suited for the job, just like the HR manager, whose name I no longer remember, who changed my life. Man, I wish somebody would have changed my life. Some feedback then. Damn. All right. Anyway. So Hades 2 gets an actual release date, which I have in my library, so that's cool. Play that eventually. Fatal Frame 2 remake. Storm Lancers. So Storm Lancers is the probably Monsters is the studio. It's a very new studio that has been doing this game. I think this is a couch co-op type of game. I had heard about this earlier. Dinkum, a 4-player sim. Papucom, co-op adventure. Tomodachi Life, which is doing something with Mii's, which is weird, but I kind of dig it. I think it would be cool if they did some like automatic imports of your friends. Who knows? Maybe that's. I think that's. Hopefully, it'll have that. I guess is what I'd say. I think this Mortal Kombat thing will be a lot of fun. I look forward to that a lot. Although, if it's going to be coming onto the Switch 2, then it means that it's going to be coming into multiple other places. I mean, come on, it's not going to be a Switch 2 exclusive. Not Mortal Kombat won't be. In which case, why would I get it on the Switch 2 when I could get it in other places? I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a really compelling argument for that. I'm very interested in this Kirby Air Rider stuff. I think anything that Sakurai-san touches, I'm going to be interested in. So we'll see. The Hyrule Warrior stuff will be fun, I think. I think I'm really interested in that. Sure, like growing up I'd play some of the Dynasty Warriors games. I would certainly rent them. I also played Sengoku Basara, which is basically they just took I think that was an anime. With the so one of the characters is voiced by the same Seiyu or voice actor that does the voice for Zoro in One Piece Japanese. And he is the he's called like Dokugan Ryu, so like the one-eyed dragon, I think is what he's called. And it was just such a weird anime. It was like a how to even describe this? It's like they took the Sengoku warring period of Japan and they took like all those, historical figures, then they mashed in some like modern stylings and themes to the whole thing. Kind of like what a Samurai Champloo did, but like way less obvious. And then put that together into an anime. Yeah. So like this character Masabune Date, who is also known as the one-eyed dragon of Oshu, is stores and fights with 6 swords at once, 3 in each hand, held between the fingers, because that's historically accurate. This is very fun, and so they made this video game, which was also very fun. But it was just basically they literally took Dynasty Warriors and put this game's characters and stylings over top of it. And this is the same thing you see here with the Hyrule Warriors. The reason why I'm interested in Hyrule Warriors though is because, and they did this before on the Switch, but the Switch wasn't a console that could handle this. So I just remember, you try to do this thing and you try to load in all these different, enemies and all this kind of different stuff that are going on, and then your console just almost has a heart attack. But this Nintendo Switch 2 should be able to handle what they're pushing here. I would think, and so yeah, that should be a game that runs well, and therefore a game that I would be interested in purchasing and playing. Some more Dragquest, which is also neat. Uh, I played some Dragon Quest earlier on in life uh, on whatever Game Boy we had out here. There's such a huge time sink, though. That's the only problem when I look at this and think about it. But hey, it looks really nice. It looks really beautiful. A whole bunch of like other little things here that are footnotes. But One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, Overcooked 2. I just don't like Overcooked. Stardew Valley. It's mostly because I'm not good at it. Stardew Valley, Human Fall Flat 2, Power Wash Simulator 2. Which, by the way, I heard on a podcast, one Dan Reichert purchased a um Power Washer because of Power Washer Simulator. He was like, "Damn, I should get this thing," and then he proceeded to destroy his driveway with the Power Washer. And then I think he sold the house. So that's immediately what I thought of when I saw that Power Wash Simulator 2. Man, how much damage has been done to real life property because they played this video game and needed to have some power in their hands. Danganronpa 2, huh? Danganronpa. Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. Oh, visual novel. Dynasty Warriors Origins, so like an actual ass Dynasty Warriors. And Monster Hunter Stories 3. Okay. So that was the lineup. The Mario Galaxy Collection will be available for $70, I guess, US, which means 90 Canadian. Watch that be 100 Canadian anyway. Each Mario Galaxy game will be available digitally for $40. So we saw this other thing, right? Which is that very much your digital first, physical second, if at all. And that's like totally tracking with everything that we see. We saw that PwC report a while ago talking about there's coming a time where those forecasts have zero for physical media sales. So it really seems like we're give it about 4 to 5 years and we're finished with physical media. It could change, but people are going to have to speak up and in some sort of concerted, unified way. If not, then if we just accept it, then we'll accept it. Oh, for those who already own 3D All Stars, which includes the first Mario Galaxy game, Nintendo confirmed that it will sell Galaxy and Galaxy 2 individually, digitally, for $40 US. Okay. It would be a good opportunity to get back into some Mario, but again, I never got into it growing up, eh? So that is neat, though. So this is Pokopia as well. Pokemon spinoff. You know what? I better leave these tabs open. I'll need them later. Pokemon spinoff. Pokemon Pokopia coming from Koei Tecmo. Players take on the role of Ditto that looks like a human. So I'd heard about like some sort of Pokemon gardening game, and I thought maybe this was the thing. But yeah, so Ditto will be able to learn the moves of various Pokemon to shape the terrain. Oh, this is just going to be the trailer. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to watch that again. Okay. I don't know. I could see myself actually wanting to mess around with that. as just like a very like, I don't know, just before bed, relaxing type of thing. I think that's cool. I look forward to that. This DLC stuff is a little bit out of control. So, Pokemon Legends ZA is getting paid DLC, which will feature Mega Raichu, um, Mega Raichu X, and Mega Raichu Y. No information given about the DLC other than coming soon, and that pre-orders will begin later today on the Nintendo eShop. Don't ever pre-order. Please don't ever pre-order. You get nothing for pre-ordering, and it's digital, so it's not like you're pre-order. It's not like you're reserving a spot for anything. Don't pre-order. Just wait till it comes out and buy it then if you want it so badly when it comes out. I don't know. Decide then. My plea will fall on deaf ears, I'm sure. People who know that they're going to buy it, they're going to buy it. So, hey. What can you do? We've already covered Bokopia, so that's fine. Yeah. Unfortunate. Like nothing so nothing in this coverage about like what, about the idea that we would have paid DLC before game even comes out and all this other kind of stuff. Bit of a shame. But yeah, obviously like the day one coverage is all going to be like everybody racing each other to try and get out what happened. So who knows? Maybe at some point next week we'll get more stuff. So like I said, this is the Metroid Prime. Yeah. So Nintendo finally confirms Metroid Prime 4's release date along with new motorbike sections. Amiibo, we gotta have them Amiibo. Little figures of Samus and their bike coming before the game's release. So we see that strategy being employed. It's pretty consistently of releasing merchandise before the game. Merchandise, game, movie. It seems merchandise, game, movie. In that order. And then more merch, I suppose. Bookended right after the movie. Man. So release date December 4th. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Samus and Viola will be available on November 6th. Bounty Hunter Silux will launch the same day as the game. It looks really beautiful. It looks really nice. I don't know, like some of the I don't know that I like some of the background textures, but okay. That's really pretty. On a Switch console, no less. Okay, look forward to that. Oh, Silk Song. Silk Song, the long-awaited successor to Hollow Knight, was worth the wait. More than 7 years of development. I remember we had talked about this before at some point. Basically, that these guys were really in a envious position of being able to spend as much time as they wanted, and to really do whatever they wanted inside of the game, right? Yeah. So I feel like I don't know this article. I've read some iteration of this article before. I don't know. I don't even know if I should call it an article. This is just a newsletter. Again, it's a newsletter that's run out of Bloomberg, and Bloomberg has put this behind a paywall where it used to be just a free newsletter, just because they needed to make fucking money off of it. But I don't even know that this is newsworthy anymore. As a publication, I don't know. That's a little bit harsh on Jason. I mean, it's fine. It's good, but again, I feel like I've read this article before. But let's see. The joy seeps through every frame of Silksong, which came out on September 4. After 7 years of production, uh, it's an action platformer set in a dreary kingdom of insects. There are malformed beetles, disc-throwing ants, armored roaches. Shy Guy has played through more than 50 hours of Silksong. Okay. Feels better, looks better, sounds better. One of the things that definitely stood out to me with watching Silksong as compared to watching Hollow Knight 1 is tonal. I keep coming back to tone. I don't know. Maybe that's like the name of today's friggin' thing. It's all about tone. It seems a lot different. Like it's if I just think about a color that comes to mind when I look at Hollow Knight, it's gray. That's the color that comes to gray, dreary. You know, really intentionally. Maybe gothic's not the word, but gothic meaning like a very careful attention to pain. Uh, but gray. And then when I look at this game, I feel more like almost orange, like there's a bit of a warmth in that game, and you see like in how the at times that main character Hornet has like kind of a glow around them as you move around, right? So there's like some lighting that is giving you a bit of more bright feedback that's making you feel a little bit better, even though you might be traversing or climbing and jumping through different areas that are messed up, or you're fighting against bugs and roaches and things like this that are maybe not um, super appealing things, unless you just happen to be a fan about bugs and all this kind of stuff, which is not going to be the majority. Um, it comes off as a lot more warm to me, anyway. Uh, so yeah, it to me it looks better as a result. Um, and hey, yeah, some cool boss battles and all this kind of stuff. Um, let's see here. So Silksong is more linear than Hollow Knight. It's a little more guided. It's easier to find all the. It's generally easier to find the all important map maker who will sell you the tools you need to in order to navigate. Um, Hornet moves faster than Hollow Knight. Um, it's charming and diabolical. Okay. Huh. For every sumptuous chord and verdant playground, there are vicious traps and brutal, sometimes mean-spirited tricks. You will die a lot. Eh. Yeah. That's the I don't know. Good on you for those who stick with it, but if you have people die a lot in a lot of these things, then you really risk alienating a whole lot of people. And maybe you get to a point where you have a game like this where you just don't care. Because you get to a point where you say, well, we're going to make the game that we want to make, and whatever. If you turn it off, you turn it off. But I would be in the crowd of people that there would be moments in this game if I was playing it where I would just turn it off and I probably wouldn't come back to it, which is probably why I'm not buying it, because I know myself well enough to know that that's probably what would happen. Um, yeah. So they have this like they have all these different they'll say it's not a souls, but then you have things like your currency disappearing. Um, okay. So you get tension that's ratcheting up, but you know you can find a new bench, but then discover that it's been rigged with a booby trap that kills you. That sucks. I don't know. Anyway, All right. Well, anyway, good for Team Cherry. Finally, gosh, you know you would hate that. Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, I mean, hey, good on them for actually coming out with this thing. It took a lot. People were waiting for this for quite some time. So glad that has finally come out. The Virtual Boy. We should probably talk about that. Oh man, bringing back the Virtual Boy, the failed 1990s virtual reality system for the Switch. They said so today with 600,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube. It may be the biggest failure. I had read about this in like a history book. I have like a video game history book here somewhere. I was reading about it there. It launched in summer '95 and was scuttled within a year. It was a spin-off to the portable Game Boy and displayed stereoscopic red and black graphics via a goggle interface. By its cancellation, it had a meager library of fewer than 24 games, according to sales figures from Japanese publication Famitsu. The Virtual Boy sold fewer than 770,000 units in its year of release. Nintendo used to avoid talking about the Virtual Boy. 2009, the press release about Nintendo from 1980s to present must have omitted Virtual Boy. But now they're preparing to charge plenty for modern gamers to experience it. They have a lineup of 14 games, including Mario Tennis, Wario Land, Space Invaders. God, no wonder they've been all over tennis. I guess it's like really coming in, going back to roots. It won't be the first time that they have redeemed the reputation of a prior Nintendo failure. Well, I mean, if it there's a bit of a presumption there that it'll be successful. But okay, Not- we've gotten so comfortable with Nintendo, having smash hits that we don't even think about them having failures anymore. But I don't know. I just get this sense that they're being a little bit blind and a little bit belligerent. And it I don't know. Could come back to bite them, I guess, is just this feeling that I get. But okay, so anyway, proceeds to list all the things that were announced. Well, that's all we get for the Virtual Boy, I guess. All right. Yeah. Again, I mean, I guess the only thing that it's a leap, right? Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I can think of here is just they have been on. They've left alone people who are out here modding and like out here meeting like even out here on Twitch modding Nintendo games and doing randomizers and doing all this other kind of stuff. They've left people doing that alone, I think, for the most part, because there seems to be a threshold that you will reach before they need to pay attention to it. And if you're out here doing these things that are like you're not making any money off of it, you're not really changing behavior in a huge way. You're not making people like change their buying habits or like whatever, right? Like they're just because somebody goes and watches a Mario 64 randomizer doesn't mean that they're not going to go out and buy a Switch 2 and a Mario game. That's not it's not competing there. However, when there are emulators that come out and then there's like a Patreon for that emulator, and now we're emulating Switch games, and now we're asking you to give us money so that we can give you this emulator that plays Switch games that you don't have to pay for, then of course now it's a fucking problem for Nintendo, and they come out and they shut it down. Or when even if something like a Pal World comes, then this is a huge problem for Nintendo, and they've been going and doing all kinds of aggressive things and stupid things with their patents and all this shit. That ultimately doesn't really amount to. I don't think that really amounts to anything. I think it's just it's garbage that would be thrown out in courts, or the competitors would just go ahead and do whatever they're going to do anyway. It's like a threat more than anything else that is meant to deter people from trying to do any sort of things that uh, infringes on something that Nintendo does, I guess. Um, and so, but all of this is born out of a place of saying, this is our backyard, these are all our IPs, and we want to uh, make use of them to make money, of course. And so, sure, right? You see when you go to the Nintendo Switch on the Nintendo Switch 2 and you open it up, you're flooded with messages of, here's this virtual console, and here's this virtual console, and here's another virtual console, and here's another virtual console, and here's this membership tier that you need to pay us so that you can access this thing, and here's all these things that you should do in Nintendo Switch Online to earn Nintendo bucks, and like all this stuff that's meant to keep you on the platform and keep you spending money, keep you on that treadmill. And so this is just, to me, when I look at this, then I think about the Virtual Boy as the extension, or like the next thing that comes out to the emulation on the platform that takes it away from other people doing it. You know, like not that there was any emulation community of people that were saying, "Hey, you know what? You know what people miss? The Virtual Boy." We got to I don't know, maybe that community exists, but we certainly never heard about it before today. I'll tell you that much. Um so and now Nintendo's got it covered. So, hey, again, I would love to see the survey data that pointed out who asked for this. Um but hey, I mean, Nintendo, keep doing what you're doing. Do whatever you want. It seems. There's your niche. Virtual Boy emulation. Yeah. All right. Let's move it on. There's not too much left here. GamesBeat has yet another place that's just compiling all the announcements today. So hey, there's nothing much new there. There was one thing here. So Storm Lancers is one of the third party games that was displayed today, and I suppose this is out now. And so it's like a couch co-op game. It is by Probably Monsters. Probably Monsters is a new studio, um, independent game company. They have raised a lot of money, and they have multiple games in development. More than just this one. I remember I listened to a podcast, an interview with their one of their heads, studio heads over there. Um, so this one, I mean, it made me think of like the modern Mega Man type stuff, right? But it's a little bit. It's obviously going to be a little bit different than that. Um, it's a roguelike. It's a couch co-op roguelike, I guess. It's very colorful, right? Um, and also appealing, easy to understand, and challenging to master gameplay system. So couch co-op appealing to most, or at least positioning themselves for in terms of audience, trying to position themselves to as many as possible. Uh, right, okay. So it's Harold Ryan, who's the former Bungie president, who has founded the studio. Okay, all right, that's right. They've raised $250 million to make AAA games. That was in 2022. But Oh, hey, that's right. They used to hold on to Concord. I should probably zoom in a bit here. Just realized. They used to hold on to Concord, which of course then got sold to Sony and then didn't take off. And so then probably Monsters switched into trying to make smaller games. And that's right. So they have a psychological horror experience of a game coming out as well. That will be, it's called Ire, a Prologue, coming out October 28th, which is, hey, good timing for a psychological thriller game. Okay. Very smart. Okay. Relatively small studio, I think. Hmm. Maybe medium sized. Its teams have hundreds of people. Um, yeah. So in this one, you'll have the feeling of being constantly on the move. There's something like a racer's aesthetic to this. Um, Man, Stormlancer's Let's Players shape their playstyle through the Storm Binding system, which enhances characters in specific ways while introducing trade offs in others. Each build unlocks distinct perks and synergies, especially when combined with powerful evasion techniques and a wide arsenal of more than a dozen weapon types. Okay, how much? 19.99. 99.99. No. 19.99. Not bad. Not bad. I wonder if you can game share on Switch too. There's also an Acclaim press restart Acclaim showcase a couple of days ago, I suppose, at this point, which I didn't even know about. So that was interesting to hear about. Let's see here. Oh, Acclaim, the legendary gaming icon, is back as a restart and is showing off its first wave of indie games as it returns to gaming with its Play Acclaim showcase. For more than 2 decades, a team of industry veterans united in March to bring back Acclaim Entertainment, one of gaming's most iconic brands to publish original intellectual properties. It's not going to make old Acclaim franchises now, but it has a full slate of new titles to show. Originally founded in 1987, Acclaim established itself over the years as a leading worldwide developer, publisher, and mass marketer, bringing beloved franchises such as Mortal Kombat, Turok, and NBA Jam to home consoles. None of those brands is currently available to new Acclaim. Damn. Shame. It goes to show you how, how not on their shit people were, I guess, in the time with managing their IPs. But the company says that it carries forward the ideology on which it was founded with its unrelenting support of talented indie developers and its delivery of high quality premium indie games to a global audience of discerning gamers. Acclaim's return is a testament to the strength and enduring appeal of its iconic brand. The full presentation is available to watch on Acclaim's YouTube channel, and fans can explore more at www.playacclaim.com. The showcase featured 9 unique titles, including Talaka, Grid Beat, Pixel Washer, Toss Down, Hyper Yuki, Ground Zero Hero, Basketball Classic, The Prisoning, Fletcher's Quest, and Katanaut. The latter is a surprise game that's available now. We're ecstatic to relaunch Acclaim with a lineup that captures our legacy of bold creativity and delivers fresh, unforgettable experiences, said Alex Joseph, CEO of Acclaim. These games are just the beginning of our mission to redefine fun for players everywhere. Okay, the new Acclaim. the main thing we want to get across is that it's just that we're definitely heavily focused on supporting indies and bringing great games to market. We're playing a bit of homage to Acclaim of the past, but this isn't a reboot. This isn't trying too hard to hang on to the old. It's more of a renaissance. It's more about giving a nod to the old Acclaim with their iconic games from the 80s and 90s, their edgy campaigns, and the lasting cultural mark they made in gaming. Okay. So as for the games themselves, Toss Down, you like I had kind of scrolled through this briefly just before I got on here, and just overall felt like this kind of like arcadey. You get that like 80s and 90s feel. I certainly feel 90s from a lot of this stuff. And so I mean it appeals to me. But yeah, so Toss Down is a traversal as we'd call it. A traversal package delivery game. Okay. Ground Zero Hero. Just makes me think of Worms, right? Is an action roguelite. Okay. This is cool. I am really looking forward to this though. Like this, what an awesome picture this is. Basketball classics. I have to save this. Can I just set this as my wallpaper right now? Basketball classics. Key art with logo JPG. .jpg. Saving that in my pictures folder. All right. A 5-on-5 pro basketball game born from the golden era of sports games, the spiritual successor to the 8-bit ballers, bridges the gap between retro and today's simulation games. Side-scrolling, sweaty arcade action with simplified 3-button gameplay and retro vibes galore. I think this will be really cool. Let's see this. This is the trailer right here. Wait, hang on. Was that Larry Bird? Who's that? Is that Jordan? Is that Bird? Who's that? Is that? That's not Magic. That's not Magic, is it? Who is that? Is that Charles? I can't tell off the. I can't tell by the color. Sweaty arcade action, yeah. What a description. Whoa. Okay, this is a little bit low res. Okay. Oh my god. I love it. Oh man. Oh man. Is that the TNT crew? Toronto! Street mode? That's fantastic. You know, there's this, one of these days I was scrolling through YouTube as you do. And I came across this interview with Gabe, Gabe Newell, right? At Steam. And in this context, they were talking about some of the design choices or thinking behind some of the things in Half-Life. And they were talking about realism. I guess when you see this argument, you think like it's like realism versus relativism. I guess is the like the actual, if you want to call it philosophical kind of argument here that's being talked about. But anyway, like to I'm certainly not a philosopher or anything like that. But let's just talk about like realism versus fun. If you just talk about it like that, then it's a lot easier to conceptualize. And then it's just like, okay, well, Something as simple as like, well, in real life, I wouldn't be able to jump that high. Versus, what's the fun thing to do in the context of this game? Is it fun if you can jump higher, or double jump, or jump so high that you can do an incredible dunk and whatever, in the context of your game. And I feel like with sports games, then in Half Life, they were talking about like, oh, if the player shoots the gun into the wall, what should happen with the bullet, and real life and whatever else. And then it was like, well, what's fun to do, and what we want to give some sort of feedback. And then based on that, they're like, yeah, when you shoot the wall, we should show something. Like there should be like a decal of a bullet hole or something and when you shoot another wall, then you'll see it there as well, or whatever, things like that. But anyway, when you think about like sports games and all this kind of stuff, I feel like sports games have gotten to a place where they have to be like these like big productions of big realistic, make it as realistic as possible, photorealistic type of things, and we've lost that arcade fun that that used to exist with sports games. Um, and so this is really fantastic to see somebody coming out here and trying to do this. I think about being able to play this game against people on stream and all this kind of stuff, and how fun and wild and goofy that would be. I think it's fantastic. So I definitely look forward to that. I don't even know if I can wish list it right now, but I will if I can. That is Basketball Classics. Let's see here. Yeah, you can. Oh shit, is it out? Oh my goodness, it's out. It's already here. Oh, hilarious. Okay. All right. Well, I know what game it's on sale too. 65% off. It's only $4 Canadian at this point in time. So who knows? I would say that's got to be something like $2 US on sale there. Maybe 250. Brilliant. All right. Well, hey. Nothing else. I'm glad that we got that one. Wait, hang on. Does that take me? Oops, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Okay. I lost my tab for the play Acclaim thing. Oh well. Venture Beat. Let me just try to look it up and bring it back up. Damn it. There we go. Okay, so that's Basketball Classics. Pixel Washer. Step into the hooves of a pig's soul. A plucky pig armed with a powerful power washer. Okay. The Prisoning Fletcher's Quest. Step into the mind of Fletcher Howie Jr., a game developer on the brink of physical and emotional burnout. I did hear about this game somewhere else too. So this is cool as well, I think. I think this is something that I'd be interested in as well. Grid Beat. Sounds like like some sort of like rhythm game here. Talaku is a roguelite. Roguelite. And with Afro-Brazilian mythology. Hyper Yuki. So this is cool again. So this is going to be like some sort of snowboarding thing, which is brilliant. Again, like SSX, tricky and whatever. So that's brilliant. I love that. And Katanaut. A Metroidvania inspired action roguelite. Ugh. Enough with the Metroidvanias, man. Give me a rest. Give me a break. It's just not my jam. That's all. Okay. Ads are coming in a minute here. So we're gonna have to wrap up anyway, but might as well just take a look at these 2 trailers and then call it. We'll move on to some Pokemon Yellow. Oh, eh. It makes me think a lot of Splunky for some reason. It's not exactly my jam either. Not sure why we're getting that flicker. That's really annoying. But probably just Chrome not being able to handle streaming at the same time. This looks very similar to Bomb Rush. That's a smooth transition. I like that a lot. I don't. It's cool. I'm still interested, but why do we always have to do cell shaded graphics or like art style with these kind of things? Why couldn't it be something else? Yuki. What is it? It's Hyper Yuki. Hyper Yuki. Coming soon. Okay. All right. World of FOMO. What a recommendation. Also, Flula is my recommended. My recommended so messed up, man. It's so bad. It's so bad. Gosh. You listen to one little thing, and all of a sudden, you got all kinds of shit. I listened to one WoW video, and now I've got all these different WoW videos that I don't give a shit about. I read one Kojima article, and now I've got Kojima standing in some archive randomly. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the news. Thanks for tuning into the news. We'll talk about the news again probably next week. Till then, have a great weekend, and we'll see you then. Thanks. Bye. And oh, you know what? Shit. Here's one thing I forgot about. I will talk about this a little bit, actually. So something that I think is really important is so No Clip, headed by Danny O'Dwyer. Danny O'Dwyer. Danny O'Dwyer. Who is, alleged gamer, at times a journalist, I guess a documentarian at this point. Who does a lot of great coverage of the games, of game design, of the studios, of the people, of the work, of all this kind of stuff in video games. And there's free videos, free Patreon membership tiers, free content, lots of free stuff for you to get if you're interested. And they have just launched NoClip 2. Which is, so if NoClip is concerned about the the past of video games, or like documenting the history of the games that we love, and the processes that and just like the how and the nuts and bolts of how they were made, then No Clip 2 is looking forward to the future of video games. So let's let Danny just explain. I think is probably the right
Hey,
thing to
happy
do.
9th birthday, No Clip. It's been a fun year, although honestly, we filmed a lot more than we edited. So between now and the end of 2025, we're going to have documentaries on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a whole series on Disco Elysium, and another series on Cyberpunk 2077. But I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about something that means a lot to me. It means so much actually that I'm terrified to talk about this and launch this thing finally. But I've put it off long enough. So let's just get to it.
Today we find ourselves in games coverage purgatory. Reviews are less useful than ever before, most studios communicate directly to their fans, and even game guides, the secret traffic driver of so many websites, has been largely made redundant by YouTube. The current state of the internet hasn't helped. We've conceded the job of discovering great art over to algorithms that judge their success based on impressions. We naively entrust these platforms to make sure that the best games always rise to the top. But this is a lie.
At the same time, let's be honest, mainstream games have stagnated. Genres have largely solidified. Budgets keep getting higher, which means the studios themselves are getting more risk averse. And with all this economic uncertainty, it's not exactly making for a particularly vibrant industry.
But if you look below the surface, there is a silver lining. Today there is a vibrant undercurrent of developers quietly tinkering away on games with powerful artistic visions. A dozen years ago we'd have called them indie, but a lot of indie is now mainstream. These folks are deeper underground, making exciting games that are at a massive risk of never finding the audiences they deserve.
So, long story short, we are starting our own games coverage outlet, and we're throwing our lot in with all of those creative weirdos.
We want to cover the games that are pushing our industry into new exciting areas, underground developers making provocative new experiences, indie developers around the world working on passion projects, and whenever it happens, large studios that are working on genuinely inspiring titles. We're going to couple this focus along with video essays, features, and fun collaborations with other journalists and YouTubers. Basically the stuff you've been asking me to do since I left GameSpot.
This is the mission of our brand new channel, No Clip 2. And yes, it took me over a year to come up with that name.
Because like EGM2, MTV2, and Dust2 before it, we're going to expand on No Clip's mission by adding something with a totally different focus. We're producing exclusive, high-quality previews on upcoming games like Demon's School and Mugenics. We're profiling some of the most exciting underground developers out there. We're filming features about games culture around the world you won't find anywhere else. And like magazines back in the day, we're putting in the human hours to uncover the best underground games, to play their demos, follow their early access progress, and crucially, to share them with the world. And this is just the stuff we've been working on behind the scenes. Once this thing goes public, we have much bigger plans and dreams for No Clip 2.
Over the past 9 years on No Clip, we've built a community of people who deeply care about preserving video game history. And with No Clip 2, we're going to build a community of people who deeply care about the future of our industry.
If this sounds like you, there are 3 things you can do to help. First, and most importantly, subscribe to No Clip 2 on YouTube and watch our stuff occasionally. Second, you can get access to our monthly game recommendation zine by joining the free membership level on our No Clip 2 Patreon. And lastly, if this is a publication that you're excited to be part of, you can support our brand new No Clip 2 Patreon and get access to exclusive videos, podcasts, and articles.
And if you can't do any of that, just support games that do interesting things. Leave Steam reviews for independent developers. Maybe take a night every month to play games outside of your comfort zone.
Because now, more than ever, if we don't support the things that matter to us, they might not be around in a few years' time.
And I don't know about you, but as much as I love documenting the history of our industry, I have absolutely no desire to document its downfall. Happy 9th birthday, No Clip. Welcome to the party, No Clip 2.
There you have it. No Clip 2. I think that's fantastic. All right. I've joined as a free member, so we'll see what videos they put out. I think they already have stuff on YouTube anyway. I just go straight there, youtube.com/@noclip2. 2. Is it underscore 2? Might be underscore. Oh my god, underscore at. That's not it. No? Maybe it's just noclip2. Yeah, it's youtube.com/@noclip2. Noclip indie recommendation. Soul Sesto. Okay. I think they also have like their own version of a game club in here as well, which is neat. Man, actually, man, I guess they have just announced it, but they already have a bunch of videos up on here. So maybe they had put down a whole bunch of content, but probably didn't release it. Damn, that's cool. Anyway, all right, I'll be checking this out later. Okay, anyway, that's gonna do for the news. Tune in again next week for the news. Bye.